On a serious note, though, I just decided to pop in here right quick. I'm in between classes right now, so yeah. I decided to pop in here because, okay, I see that Charleston White be having y'all on one, like legit on one. You know, that's like what is it, man? That's y'all man realm. I'm a woman, so I'm limited in that space. My opinion. I stick to the rivers and lakes that I'm used to. But what I will say is that the part that gets me with the Charleston White thing is that a lot of the people that he beef with about their communities don't even live in these said communities any longer. But he still lives where he reps. So to break it down, it's like the men, they be arguing and going back and forth with him, but nobody still lives in the hood that they claim that they're from. There are some California people who I know personally for a fact don't live in the cities that they represent or the cities they're supposed to be quote unquote from. They live, out on the outskirts. And there are, some gentlemen, I guess, from New York that do the same thing. My question is, oh yeah, and also, with Chicago, right? So my question is, if you had a little bit of money or gathered your resources together and you moved out of these said communities, why in turn do you get upset when somebody else calls these communities bad neighborhoods or bad areas? Because if you yourself no longer stay there, then obviously there was something that was bad about the area. It's like me going on and on and on about, being from the west side of LA, but I don't even live in the west side of LA, or I haven't been to the west side of LA in 10 plus years or something like that. It's like clearly there's an issue. One or two things: either it's bad or you done scarred your face so bad you can't go back because people will have at you. So my thing is, like, why do y'all get mad at him for saying the same thing that basically you're saying yourself? Like, how impactful is your statement when you bragging about your city? And I'm just going to use this city for an example, right? Because a lot of people live there. I guess they say it's the new Black Hollywood. It's like Atlanta. Like, a lot of people will be barking, but you live in Atlanta. You don't even live in your city no more. There are, some people that I see on here that do their thing, like Willie D. I think he's still in Houston, if I'm not mistaken. Charleston, he reps Dallas. Off the top of my head, that's really all I could think of. Like, that's just right off the top of my head. Mostly everybody else are like transplants. Like, they talk about their city, but then when they say where they're living at, they never live in their cities. And to me, that just makes it like, like, I love, I love, being back home. I love Waukegan. That's, that's my home. But when I was raising my sons, I was like, I can't do it here because it was just so much going on. And if you're not familiar with Waukegan, it's in a county right outside of Cook County, which Cook County is where Chicago is. So I saw the whole thing coming. Like, I was in the thick of it before it hit the internet and turned into the whole Warren Chirac situation. So when I had my sons, I was like, I got to get my boys out of here because it was going down. So I'm not going to front like I didn't move away because it was a bad time in my town. So when I hear people talk about the greater Chicagoland area and how bad it is and stuff, I listen, and I mean, really, what argument do I have? Because, yeah, I might not use as harsh language as others may use. But, boy, side note, I'm telling y'all, when that grown woman weight get on you, it's like running out of love. and there's nothing you can do about it. And when that grown woman will get on ya, there ain't nothing you can do about it. When you start getting older, let me tell you. But anywho, yeah, like, I wouldn't be like over the top because, you know, they may say it harshly, but they have a point, you know? Like, that shit is hard. Now, I'm not saying the government didn't cause it, but yeah, it's just certain places. I remember when I went back to visit, and my best friend can attest to this, I went back to visit, and we wanted some jerk tacos. Like, that is the thing, and, you know, back home is, you know, jerk tacos. So I wanted me some jerk tacos. So, excuse me, y'all, my fresh squeezed juice, so good. But I wanted me some jerk tacos so bad. So me and my best friend, we got off the plane, and when we landed in O'Hare, we just like Googled, you know, jerk taco man. Like, you know, that was the closest because it's more than one location. So normally we go to the one that's right off the freeway, but that's like further. Like, I was trying to see if there was one that was closer to O'Hare. So we ended up going to this jerk taco place, and when I tell you, baby, it was scary. I don't know what side of town we were on, but all that was out there was dope fiend and police. And this was like at noon, like it was like noon, 1 o'clock in the day. So this wasn't like we was out there, you know, at, you know, some random time at night when we should have not been. This was literally in the daytime, and you think, like, you know, the records say like the freaks come out at night. So I'm thinking that, you know, it's not going to be that bad because I still go to places in Chicago when I'm back home. Like, I don't just completely abandon Chicago because I grew up there. So when we went to this jerk taco place, I'll never forget, I ended up speaking to this young man. He was like around my age. You could tell, you know, opioids, you know, heroin, whatever, then took him down. He asked me for some change. I gave him all the change that I had in my pocket. And I also gave him one of my books of the 4 agreements, because I always have the 4 agreements on me, like with more than one copy, just because the book changed my life. So I gave him that book, and I stood outside and we fellowshipped for, you know, a moment. And I, you know, he asked me, could I give him a hug? I gave him a hug, and, you know, he went on his way. I went my way. And, you know, because regardless to whatever, people are still human beings, you know, and I have that. Like, I don't look at, you know, people the same way as others, and I don't, you know, I don't shun my brother, because, you know, God is in everyone. But yeah, we talked, and it was just so crazy. It was just like the police was out there like the Wild West. Even when we were trying to leave, we went past, I think it was the 77th precinct, if I'm not mistaken. Was it the 71st, 77th? I can't, because I get the precincts mixed up, because LA has the 77th. One of them has the 77th and one of them has the 71st. Just trust me on this. It was either or. But that was a precinct that we ended up riding past. And the police was just standing in the middle of the street, like a barricade. Like, they talking. I guess it was shift change, because it took us like an hour to get our food. It was crazy. Like, you know, and I was panicked more or less because I didn't want the police to start, you know, shooting at the people, you know, or whatever, or something, because it was so many police officers. It was just, it seemed like it was a ticking time bomb. Like, it was just like, something's gonna happen. There's too many police, there's too many people outside, and, you know, that's a recipe for disaster. Too many police, too many people, something's about to go down. Nonetheless, thank God nothing did. We were able to get our food. But on our way home, we rode through this down this street, and I think it was where the 71st and 77th precinct was, and the police was just in the middle of the street during shift change, just talking like cars ain't coming, like they daring somebody to hit them. And I was so nervous driving by, because I was like, if I make a wrong move, they'll probably light my carpet, swear to God that I tried to run down the police, when you guys are literally standing in the street where people can't pass by. So when I hear somebody like Trump say that Chicago is a shithole town, I'm not just thinking of the residents. I'm thinking of the whole spectrum, law enforcement included. Like, people haven't been to Chicago. I'm not talking about going down to the Gold Coast. I'm not talking about just going down to the Gold Coast area, or, down where all of the, the name brand, stores are and stuff, and going shopping and being by the high rise, downtown now that the Cabrini Greens, or, I think it was the Ickies, if I'm not mistaken. If anybody knows, correct me, but I think the Ickies and the Cabrini Greens were downtown Chicago. I'm not talking about over there in that gentrified area. I'm talking about going to the actual inner city. Then come back and tell me about what Chicago is or ain't. I'm somebody that has lived there, in there. I've been there. I've lived in there. I know. And this ain't no hearsay. And I've also lived in Los Angeles, inner city. So these ain't no hearsay. When people call out these cities, they not lying. It's just that people don't want to hear the truth. But 9 times out of 10, the people that do the most barking, they not even living there either anymore. They done got their family and their kids out of there. So if you believe in your area and you believe that there's some hope there, then you got to do the work from the inside out, not from the outside in. So that's my only issue. I'm going to hurry up and get on up out of here because I got to go take my finals, because I got graduation coming up. And I'm graduating with high honors, so I got to, make sure that I get my strut on, So nonetheless, as always, do something good for yourself and always do something good for somebody else. And don't forget to be prolific and be abundant. I know I got it backwards, but nonetheless, it's the same message. Y'all have a good day.